everybody. So I'm Mark McKenna, or Marcus, I go by either, and I am a design director at Steelcase. And I have three categories: seating, Turnstone, which is one of our sub-brands, and another group of products we do called Work Tools. And you might wonder, how does one get to be a design director? Well, in my case, by growing up on a farm in the middle of Illinois. So I have never really enjoyed growing things, but I always enjoyed working on the machines. And I just had a natural affinity for machines. And our particular farm had John Deere equipment mostly. And I found out in 7th grade about the field of industrial design, and I looked up John Deere, and that was all done by a company called Henry Dreyfuss Associates. And I decided right then and there I was going to be an industrial designer and do John Deere equipment, and I ended up doing that. And it was only later that I found out that my childhood dream actually wasn't what I wanted to do, that I much preferred working in the furniture industry, which is what I do now. So, design director, what do we do? And in fact, what does anybody in product development do? I think in the broadest sense, we take very ethereal ideas and make them real. And this is a photo by an artist whose name escapes me, but I've been carrying around for 10 years because this feels like my job. Can anybody relate to this? Does this feel kind of like what you do? I love what this guy's doing. He's putting a rope around a cloud and trying to tie it to Earth. So in a way, I believe every one of us represents some step on this journey from ethereal to real, because that's really what we're about, is making ideas tangible. So I get to work with Pete and a lot of the model making staff, and occasionally around our busy time of the year, I will get to hear a couple of gripes. Designers, model makers, we do generate some conflict, and what I wanted to do is maybe talk about the origins of the conflict and to give you all an understanding of why it's so darn painful for us to make up our minds sometimes. That's happened to you too. It's Steelcase. Okay, so this journey of abstract idea into a product is really this: what it could be to what it must be. So consider that. What could be is a great many things, unknown things, a multiplicity of things, and we've got to funnel it down into one thing. And when you go through that process, like on a personal, emotional level, it necessarily involves giving things up. And some of those things you give up, you might be kind of attached to, you might like. So it can be very painful to go from the world of ideas, a great many ideas, to a single idea. So next time you run into one of your designers who can't make up his mind or her mind and is rather pissy that day, remember this: they're just on a journey from many things to a single thing, and they're having to give up something that might seem precious to them. I almost called this lecture How to Tame Your Designers, but I couldn't think of anything better than this one. Okay, so at Steelcase, how important is model making? When Pete asked me to give this lecture, it was actually a pretty hard thing to formalize, because model making is so part and parcel to what we do that I couldn't even imagine work without models. It's inherent, it's implicit in what we do. And when I started counting up how many models we make, It's done. Check this out. We have about 180 concurrent projects going on. Each one will generate a minimum of about 10 models, and that adds up to about 1,800 models a year. And these are minimum numbers. So there is stuff going on all day, every day. Now, here's something to keep in mind, though, when you imagine, well, how could they possibly keep up with 1,800 models? How is that possible? Well, one thing is our models are always one-to-one. We are in the furniture business. We design essentially experiences. You know, how could we possibly develop a chair unless it were one-to-one? What if we decided to work on privacy? Could we make a little scale model of that? No, we'd have to create an environment where a human body will walk into it. So for us, anyway, because we're dealing with objects that touch a body, as long as we have bodies, we're going to have full-scale models. Does anyone else have that kind of condition at work? You guys work in scale models or full scale? Yeah, or both? Full scale? Yeah. I never thought about it, but I can't think of a single scale model besides, like 2 in all of our work. It's always 100%. But not all models are created equal. It's a journey. So at the very beginning of the process, you have someone like me who's been working with the business leaders in the category, and we might decide that something abstract is important, like the ability to say escape and focus. So that will turn into a brief. Our designers will take something very abstract like that and start building models with a dedicated model maker. And what I want to get across is because the ideas at that point are so abstract, the models are quite abstract. They're super low fidelity. They're often foam core and tape, and they get ripped up in real time, as we play around with them. Then as we progress towards production, we're a manufacturing company, the models become higher and higher fidelity. So what we use our model makers for is everything from cutting up foam core and making super quick box, all the way into making production level tooling mock-ups. And we do this because we want to mostly create a good experience. And that is, I guess, my charge. And the products will always kind of, or the objects will devolve into products, but that's not the primary goal. The primary goal is to create a great experience, so say sitting or a chair or working or standing at a desk, for example. And those initial models are intentionally abstract. We intentionally try to leave out all of the details like manufacturing type details or even aesthetic details, color, until at least halfway through the process. And this is the important thing. We build models to test ideas. They're tools for us. And we end up going through them rather quickly. So the idea, I've talked a little bit about experience at the beginning. That's the most important thing. So our models are optimized to test the experience. Later on, we will get more and more specific. We will test all kinds of things. It can be a test for part fit up, it can be a test for color, it can be a test for height. We could make a model as a test for function. It almost doesn't matter what we are testing. The point is, it's intrinsic in us to make a model and test it. Is that clear? And there are a couple of corollaries with it. And that's as soon as the idea is tested, the model is no longer useful. So all those 1,800 models we built, they end up going into the trash pretty quickly. So that's kind of a hard pill to swallow. Both if you're a designer and a model. But you can imagine what would it be like if you kept 1,800 models a year for a 101-year-old company. So the corollary, there's a life lesson here, and that is we have to all, on the Steelcase side, really learn to embrace failure. And I talk about this with basically anybody who will listen. So failure is a wonderful thing. It's a learning thing, as long as the three conditions of cheap, fast, and private are met. So we attempt to make this clear for everybody, from designer to model maker to engineer, everybody in the process, that as we build to learn. It's a good thing if we do not get the result we anticipated, because we can take what we learn and do it again. And this happens over and over and over again. It is a constant. And the other thing that all of us end up learning is to never fall in love with a model, which is probably good life advice. Okay, so really that's the entirety of the formalized presentation. It's pretty simple, it's pretty quick. I thought though that it might be useful for you guys to ask questions if you wanted. So we are officially open if anybody has any questions, thoughts. Yeah?
So when do you throw the balls away? When do you throw them away?
Ongoing.
At the end of the project? Or
No, right after we're done. I mean, some of the important ones we'll take photographs of and we'll try to record. If there are ideas inherent in them that seem valuable that we think we might use for a future project, we will save that model and it will go into a storage room that is kind of limited access. But generally speaking, we generate the models, we keep them around for a few weeks, and then they end up in the trash.
So you record the process. So you record the process of all the iterations.
Every project is different. You know, we have 180. We're supposed to record everything. Some teams do a better job than others. So it's not like we have one team. We've got, how many model makers do we have?
29.
29. We have about 24 designers and maybe 120 engineers, all of them working on multiple projects.
I know it's different for different firms, but how many iterations might occur of a model at different stages of the product development process for Steelcase?
Yeah, a lot. So it will depend on a high profile program like a task chair. Hundreds and hundreds of models over, let's say, 30 months. Hundreds. On a thing like a screen bracket, 3. So it really depends on how important it is to the business, what it means to our brand, how complex the product is, and we do get complexities that range on at least 2, probably 3 orders of magnitude, like a piece of bent sheet metal all the way up to multiple injection moldings in 3 facilities.
from idea generation to
Well,
In general.
the simplest projects can be like 18 months. Wait, to fabrication or to market launch?
To market launch.
Market launch would be, the simplest would be 18 months. There's a whole bunch of steps, even after design, engineering, and marketing know what we want. There's the finished model. We have to tool it. We have to get inventory. We have to test the production line. We have to do a photo shoot. We have to publish all that stuff. It just takes a long time. So a longer project will take 3-ish years. And you know, everybody, I would like to think that every company has going to be infamously long, bad project, but that takes a long time. We have a couple of those too. The clinkers, right? Everybody's had a clinker. Yeah. Yes.
Since all of your models are probably being built from digital models, do you retain all your digital files for those developmental models?
Well, that's actually 2 questions.
Yeah.
A lot of our models are built from digital files, but not all. In fact, we actively encourage our designers to start off not in the digital realm, but with foam core and sticks and tape. And we do that because, well, you guys all know this, scale is critically important. And everything on the computer screen is exactly the same scale at all times, right? You can be working on a model of the Titanic, or you can be working on Abraham Lincoln's nose on a penny, and they will both appear exactly the same size on the computer screen. So we encourage our folks to get out of the computer and to start working in real scale as soon as they can. And honestly, there's a lot of resistance to it as younger folks come into the field. They're more and more at home on the screen. So that's the first part of the question. The second part is, are the digital files retained? And the answer is yes, absolutely. We maintain all the design files are less carefully kept, but the engineering files all go into Creo and Proe, and they become part of our corporate database. We do have a place where all of our design files reside too, but they are less consistent in format. We use a lot of softwares. Okay, good.
So you throw a lot away. How much do you recycle?
A lot. So almost there are big recycle bins everywhere in the shop.
So what kind of materials do you recycle?
Steel, well, all the metals, for sure. We have a recycled bin for cardboard and plastic as well. So I think most of our rapid parts get recycled. Does that sound right, guys? Most of it.
About the only thing we can recycle is like foam core, just very difficult to recycle. But most paper, whatever, cardboard, that's all captured. Unless it's tested product, but stuff from the bottle shop, pretty much all of it's recycled.
Yeah. Did everybody hear that? Yeah. Yes.
So that you destroy it so that it's not visible
Yeah.
what it is?
Yeah, we've got a crusher next to our big thing. Our industry is a little bit paranoid. It is. We live here in Grand Rapids, and we have several good competitors right down the road from us. They're probably in this room, some of them, and they are worthy competitors and fantastic companies too. But we are quite careful about the waste stream we put into the world in terms of intellectual property.
And then on the percentage-wise, which projects get out of the game and which ones are considered failures, like percentage-wise?
Well, when a project is turned on, we would like to think that it should be a success. the horse race is really before a project gets turned on. I tell all of my folks that 9/10 of their ideas are bad. Now, I think that's being actually really nice. My personal goal is to have 4 good ideas a year. When you think about it, that's 1 good idea a quarter. That's a goal. That's a stretch goal. It is. When you think about it, it's a stretch goal. So I tend to encourage anybody on my teams to generate a lot of ideas, and it's a numbers game. Right? You have to fall in love with your ideas. You have to be enthused, otherwise you wouldn't follow through with them. But you also have to understand that the person who generates the idea is often the least qualified to evaluate it, because so in love with them. I'm super guilty of this too. So we generate a lot of ideas. 9/10 of them are bad, and they tend to actually not quite die. They're like a fuse underwater or something. So that idea might find an expression, or a part of that idea might find an expression in some future project. But what is important about that is, by the time the projects get turned on, the idea has been through at least a dozen minds and becomes stronger and stronger and stronger until it becomes, let's call it, worthy of a project. Oh, and here's another interesting thing. I'd be curious to learn from you guys. For an idea to become a project, it requires 4 people. It requires an industrial designer for it to go anywhere, an engineer, a marketer, and a project manager. So unless you can get a senior member of each of those functions aligned around an idea, and that's a high hurdle too, there is no project. There might be some exploration, which is a ton of fun, but it's not going to go anywhere until the idea is already good enough to get those other folks enthused.
So in the shop, is it kind of where you let everyone kind of make ideas until you get behind the project and everyone drops that and goes on that project? Is that what it's like?
Well, it's not like doing calisthenics, like everybody do 20 push-ups and then we're going to go find a project. It's pretty organic. So people, if they have an idea, they have license, and there's actually the expectation for them to go into the shop when they can find time between funded projects and go try to make a very simple, very schematic version of it and then show it around. And that idea, if it has merit, will grow and become something. And then the final answer to your original question is, of the projects that get turned on, how many reach market? I'd say a good 3/4 make it. Maybe a little bit less, but fair amount.
You a new product idea out there, so people sitting in a chair and
How do we test? Like evaluation?
there's consumers in from the outside and then test them.
In terms of testing the experience out, like how does the chair feel and stuff, we will test it extensively on ourselves, and we have a big innovation center. It's I don't know how many folks, 150, 200, somewhere 100, a couple hundred. So we will make sometimes formalized tests inside our own facility, which, by the way, is like a beautiful gilded cage. The coffee's pretty good, the food's all right, there's not any reason to leave, and nobody can go in there. So it does get a little incestuous at some points. But so we test the products on ourselves, and then if we have, say, an important customer in town, we might have them sign an NDA, and we might turn it into kind of a special thing for them to get to see a product that's in development. But that's, fairly rare.
How often do you revamp a line? Do you ever recycle old products to, you know, to, I guess, bring them back into the market at all? Or is it always new development, new development, new development?
It's almost always new development, but I should say that we are, unlike cars, once we turn production on, we almost never turn it off. It just kind of has a half-life and just keeps going on. So we sell products right now that have been in line for 15 years, maybe longer. Imagine if a car company did that and you could buy a brand new 1980 Chevette right now.
You have the brand, and then you have multiple other brands that you sell to. You end up recycle a brand that was Steelcase, and then you will sell it to a different market under a different brand name, but it's still the same product.
Kind of, yes. So I'll explain the brands and then I'll give you an example. So we have Steelcase, that's our parent company, and it's also a brand. And then underneath that we have Turnstone, which is kind of our value brand. We have Steelcase Education, Steelcase Health. We have a high-end brand called Coalesce. And what am I missing? I think that's almost all of them. And in, say, different markets like Europe or Far East, our brand doesn't have any or much recognition. We're largely a North American brand. So if we sell a Turnstone product, it's relabeled Steelcase, mostly because we want the main brand to have recognition. Does that answer?
Yeah.
What ratio is there between ideas that come up from within your company, like, oh, we're going to enter the medical field and have this kind of furniture, versus a client approaching you and saying, we want a line of, we want an environment for waiting rooms or hospital visitation zones or whatever?
It's kind of a tricky question. Our innovation center is officially closed to direct outside influence. Right, so those salespeople can come in and say, I was just at a client and you need to make X. That cannot happen by definition. However, our business leaders have deep ties to the field, and the directors as well are also encouraged to get out to the field. So we will almost never take a direct request from a customer and try to commercialize it, unless it's like a one-off kind of special thing. We have a department called specials for that. But I would say the ratio of taking a direct request and commercializing it is probably about 0%. Almost never. Yes?
How many designers do you have on your staff, and how many of them work on any given project once it goes online?
We have in Grand Rapids about 20 designers. We have also an innovation center in Munich where there's another, I don't know, a half dozen or dozen folks, and yet another innovation center in Shanghai. No, Hong Kong. And I think there are 4 or 5 folks there. A big project will have 2 designers on it, usually someone leading it and someone kind of doing more grunt work. And the small project will have, a portion of a designer. So I've got, it really depends on the person, We also use interns quite a bit. We get a surprising amount of work out of our intern staff. So a really talented senior designer might have up to 6. That would be a very thinly spread person. And an intern just might have 1 or 2 little things to work on. I have this funny mnemonic that I use. So we have different categories. We have seating and architecture and work tools and all that kind of stuff. And I like to say that every category should have one big strategic project and 4 line extensions. And the one big strategic project might take 3 years to commercialize and take a lot of thought. That's a big unknown, where are we going kind of project, but it is strategic. And then all of these line extensions, the other 4 are much more tactical, easy to understand, and generally the amount of work in these 4 is equivalent to the amount of work in the 1. Does that jive with your businesses at all? Kind of, more or less? Or not?
How much cross-pollination do you have between your project teams? Is that something that's favored, or?
Yeah, it's a tough question. So we just moved from kind of strict functions where all the engineers sat together and all the designers sat together and all the marketers sat together. And now we've broken that up into what we're calling pods, where and these pods will work on a thing. Like we have a pod for adjustable tables. And the engineers, designers, marketers, and project manager, they all sit right there together. So we'll probably honestly have less cross-pollination rather than more. So that's one of the things we'll experiment with and see. Good question. Okay, so the way I'm understanding it is how do we manage collaboration between us, who are our size, we're a $3 billion company, and a much smaller? Yeah. I can give you a kind of humorous example. So big companies are always kind of the bullies. We don't mean to be, but it's complex. It's we have layers and layers of management and permission and alignment, and the bigger a company is, the more internal drag it creates. It's just kind of a law. Smaller companies are always more agile than big ones, but the bigger companies have more capital, more funding, more influence, a larger market position, and I think inevitably it turns into kind of gorilla versus monkey situation. So one wake-up call for me is I'm now on a project where we're the monkey and we're working with a company that's much bigger, 10 times as big easily, and I get to know what it's like to be a supplier to Steelcase. Very difficult.
Thank you, Marcus. You did exactly what I asked you to do. I can tell you from personal experience, Marcus takes a complaint pretty well. Sometimes he'll push back. I've learned a lot of things working with him. He's certainly heard from me some arguments of what we should be doing. And sometimes I'm right, and a lot of times I'm wrong. But that's it's great to be able to work with designers that way.